seeing the way that he's working and trying to get this, I'm like, dang, I need to get on that level. I can't I can't let him catch me, in that. And I know there's other players that are doing the same thing that are probably, younger and just as talented.
What's up, everybody? Johnny Disc Golf here at the 2020 Waco Annual Charity Open with coverage presented by OTB. I am here with the defending champion, Mr. Paul McBeth. How you doing?
Doing well. Enjoying this warm heat. I think it's 2 tournaments in a row so far, so it's nice not feeling like winter anymore.
Yeah, it's like surprisingly warm. I feel like last couple years it has been a little chilly getting into the middle of the season. But big question, how was the offseason?
Pretty stagnant, I guess. I was in the boot for a good portion of a month and just kind of recovering and doing these other things to kind of, first they thought it was a sprain, they said rest it, so I took 4 to 6 weeks off for that, and then they thought it was something else, so don't be too active, and then finally like, all right, figured it out, putting you in a boot. So it was kind of just a lot of waiting, but other than that, everything was great.
Yeah, kind of an interesting situation for your injury, and please explain it, because you could have done surgery or you could just wait, play, and then do surgery later. What's the prognosis out of that?
Well, there's no surgery or anything like that. Yeah, so what it is, it's microfractures in the talus. So basically what happens is when I throw just kind of consistently rolling it like that. So eventually she's like, yeah, it just got so loose down there that started getting bone on bone and cracking them. So I got some microfractures in there, which she said could develop into stress fractures, which she said they're kind of the same thing, they're just smaller, but so we're going to reevaluate it in the summer. So I got this brace on to kind of be like a fake ankle and kind of let everything kind of heal up in there. And so she just said, you can play as long as you want. It's just going to be painful. So just playing with pain, and that's about it.
So where is the pain level? Is it like enough to where you're like kind of gritting a little bit, or where is that at?
At times, sure, but I got the steroid shot, whatever that is, in there. So. Yeah, probably. I don't know what the name of it is. But, yeah, I got that in there. She's like, yeah, some people it works, some people it doesn't. And, some days it really hurts. But then I don't know why, but the day it hurts really bad, the next day it feels like brand new.
Really?
I don't know if it's because I'm, being tender on it or what. But some days it hurts, some days it doesn't. But nothing too extreme.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, you came out obviously firing at Wintertime Open, took that one down, skipped Vegas. Why'd you skip Vegas, and what were you doing in Arizona instead?
Well, it was basically just not playing as many tournaments to start the year. Taking it slow, playing Wintertime, taking the week off, getting to Arizona a little bit early. Like I got there Saturday, so it wasn't too early, but then we kind of got rained out, so I didn't play Saturday, maybe a little Sunday. But no, just kind of taking it slow to start the year, because I know after this one, I got Throwdown the Mountain after that, 3 in Jacksonville, then Jonesboro, and one other one, I think. But it's just, it's so busy to start the year.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a bit from starting the year. I want to talk a little bit more about the offseason, because maybe one of the biggest headlines as a consumer, as a viewer, is Brodie getting into the sport of disc golf. You can't really escape it. He's putting out so much content. What's it been like, from your perspective, watching somebody with a huge following really start from scratch?
Yeah, I think it's been a big offseason for Discraft. First it was Paige. You can't overlook that when Discraft signed Paige. And then that kind of just rolled over into the Brodie, deal. So he's known about disc golf for quite a while, and he finally just, I think he said January 1st, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start playing, be competitive, and see what happens. And he reached out to me and a few other pros, and then I guess a controversial topic is like people are like, why is he sponsored? But there's so many celebrities in disc golf that are sponsored.
Yes.
I don't understand. There's so many people that are sponsored. He's just the first one to actually do something with that,
exactly.
And not just do it casually. He's like, I'm actually going to go all out in this. So, he's training harder than a lot of, our players in the sport are. It's motivating for me seeing it, because I'm like, wow, I need to step up my game. So it's really cool, and I won't be surprised if he goes really far with it, because he's got a background in Frisbee. He's got a background in golf. We're basically originally Frisbee golf.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool to see.
How does it affect, or does it play any effect in your game? I know in the offseason you had the boot. I found myself, when I teach something, I tend to, it sinks in better for myself. Were you enjoying like the instruction part of it at all?
Yeah, see, I think I'm kind of the opposite way. When I'm trying to teach someone, I try to relate to them, so I kind of pick bad habits out of it. I'm like, oh, this is what you're doing wrong, and then it'll kind of stick with me because I'm like, I put myself in their shoes. So sometimes it's a little hard in that part, but I think that's why it works in the off season to really help. And as far as my game, I think it's more motivating than anything. Seeing how hard he's working, seeing how hard he's taking it, seeing how he takes care of his body. It's definitely teaching me a lot. I'm not just teaching him. So.
You mentioned Paige Pierce coming over to Discraft. That was the first big headline for Discraft over the offseason. Did you have any input on that? Did you have anything to do with that? Have any sway?
Not a whole lot. I mean, her and I talked a little bit once their initial talks were going, and she's like, well, how do you feel about it? What are your opinions and things like that? So, I definitely gave her my honest feedback about everything involved and everything that she asked, and kind of just gave her some heads up. I'm like, if you're going to negotiate something, this is kind of what I know as a player that I kind of feel like I need, and some of the things that go along with that. So I don't want to say I had any real decision making in any of it, but I definitely helped with giving my opinions.
Sure. Let's get back to the course now. We're in Waco. Last year, a historic round for you, 18 under par. I have to imagine, your game was feeling as good as it could have possibly felt then. How are you feeling this year? The few course changes, but nothing major outside of the pars shifting.
Yeah, last year coming into this tournament, I didn't have as good of a start as I did this year. I think I took 2nd and 10th or something like that at the previous 2 tournaments. I didn't play Vegas last year either. So, oh no, did I? I think I did. Yeah, I played Vegas last year. I took 4th. That's right. 2nd, 4th, 10th. So anyways, no, not as good of a start last year. This year, I feel just as confident, but I just need to work on my putting a little bit more. I think getting it dialed in. The course is completely backwards now as far as wind.
Yes.
It's more to the natural. Yep. So, 18's actually really hard now. Instead of an easy par 4, now it's a really hard par 3. So, just learning the course again, which I think is better. When I tend to go to courses I've been to a lot, I kind of go off what I did last year. But I need to enter tournaments and see each course and just treat it like a new one every time. So this year I'm feeling good, feeling confident, throwing my disc well in all the practice rounds. So hopefully roll that over. 18 under will be a lot harder this year now. They moved quite a few baskets further and changed some pars on certain things, but I think it's still possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Any new discs to the bag? Anything like new to the lineup? I know, and I want to touch on it a bit, that you've got your own new disc that just came out recently, but anything that you're actually leaning on, throwing a lot out here, different from last year?
Well, yeah, a lot actually. At this point last year, the only discs in my lineup that were out were the Zeus and the Luna. So I got the Onyx in my bag, I got the Malta. I don't have the Hades in my bag yet because I haven't had a chance to throw it. The test flights have come out. I've tested it, but not enough to any of these course standards, or I don't have enough to actually, I don't have 5 or 10 of them on me to actually start breaking in or working in. Yeah. So those are definitely new. I got a Machete in my bag this year. I had a Predator in it last year. But just some new buzzes, some new Lunas. Yeah, sure. But that's about it as far as I can think.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about that Hades. It came out at I think just before Memorial, part of the run up to the event. Pitch me on it. What's the flight characteristics? Who might it be good for?
So the test flight, it came out at Memorial, and they just became PDJ legal, I think, either Tuesday or last week or sometime. But it's the 12-speed driver, very similar to the Zeus. If you like the Zeus feel, this is kind of just a beat-up version, or more throwable for more players. I know a lot of people were saying that the Zeus is a little bit too overstable for them, which it was intended to be like a pro-level disc. So this is kind of, pros can throw it as well. It's got a lot of glide, but I think it's more user-friendly. Okay. It's got, like I said, it's got a lot of glide, speed 12, and I think it's very controllable for a high-speed driver. So, if you've tried the Zeus or if you've tried high-speed overstable drivers and they're just too overstable for you, Hades is a good one. I like to compare it to like a Avenger SS, but a speed 12.
Longer. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but everyone's gonna have their opinion, so sure. That's mine on that, and I think go out and try it.
Beautiful. New ratings update came out 2 days ago, I think. Now, 1061. Obviously, it just keeps going up. It's like that big distance in the desert. It seems like there's just no cap. Every year, something new happens. Where do you go from here? You've been the best player in the world for a handful of years at this point. Do you have any new goals every season? Like how do you keep yourself motivated to keep on grinding?
Well, I mean, I think I enter every tournament to win. So if I'm winning, I'm shooting good rated rounds. So that's really the goal, is to go out and win. And if I keep winning, the rating's going to go up. So that's really all I'm shooting for. I'm not looking for a certain number. 1060 was a great number to hit. 1061 is super cool, but it doesn't sound as good as like 1065 or 1070. Exactly. So I mean, there's still goals to get it higher, but it's not something I'm like shooting for. I just want to go out and win, and if I keep winning, then the rating will keep going up.
Yeah. Last year, speaking of keeping on grinding and winning tournaments, last year you took it down. Ricky was the guy that was chasing you down or keeping pace with you late in that tournament. This year he's had some ups and downs health wise. Do you still have your eyes on him as like that number 2 guy that's pushing you, or who are you looking at that you're really keeping an eye on to take one?
Well, last year, Ricky was winning. Even after I shut the 18 down, I was still trailing him. I was still 2 back, and he had me by 2 with I think 6 to go or 7 to go, and I shot 8 under on the final 7. And I only know this because we looked it up 2 days ago. So, he was winning that whole tournament the whole time. It's unfortunate that he's got Lyme disease, and he's an adult. He can treat it however he wants, and people are going to base their opinions how they want, but. I hope he gets better. That sucks to see someone struggling like that. But, as far as competition, I think there's more than just one player that's battling out. There's hundreds of players in these tournaments, so any one of them can win it. So, I mean, my goal is to go out there and just try to play my game and shoot the best round that I can. And if I win, I'm not looking at who's in second.
Fair point. One of the coolest things that I see every year is that more people keep coming on the road. You see a lot of these 18, 19-year-old kids just grinding, getting better and better. Do you feel like you had a hand in inspiring these kids to go out on tour? I mean, when we see people like you, clearly successful, you've made disc golf work. Do you feel like do you try to pave the way for some of these younger players?
I think it's great seeing all those players out there. The more the merrier, the more competition, the better. Did I have a hand in traveling? Sure. I mean, there was people before me as well. I think it's great to see them all out here. I think the only negative thing is a lot of people complain about how it's hard. It's like, oh, we don't make anything. Like, I think purses are low, yeah, but if we continue to be professionals, that's going to go up. And I don't think a lot of the complaining that I see is the right way. We all started out at the same point. We all traveled, stayed in hotel rooms with 4 different people. Slept on the floor, and you see other sports that way too. You hear minor league baseball players that have to live in a house with a family they don't know, and that's professional baseball. So, It's sad to see the complaining, but I love seeing the players out there grinding because it's a great life lesson so I learned so many things. I learned a lot in school. That's great. The education program is incredible, but, the life lessons you learn when you go out on the road and travel with people and kind of get those experiences, that's a different life lesson.
Is there anything, this just came through my mind, is there anything you miss about, I'm thinking like 2010, you're not a world champion, you're grinding it out, you're a great player. Is there anything you miss about like those days, that type of touring, that type of travel?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to miss the struggle. Once you have everything, it's kind of hard. You like working for things and earning things, and that's something that, I like to work for what I have, and I feel like I've done a lot of that, but I want to continue working for more than what I have now, and that's not like a financial gain, but if I want a certain car, like I need to do something to earn that, not just buy that with what I'm having now. So, you brought up the Brodie thing earlier, seeing the way that he's working and trying to get this, I'm like, dang, I need to get on that level. I can't let him catch me, in that. And I know there's other players that are doing the same thing that are probably, younger and just as talented, but have that drive for the game. I need to continue to find those things, but I do miss the struggle, of some things. So maybe I'll start putting myself on a strict budget and kind of just like, damn, might have to settle for ramen tonight.
Oh my God! If I see you out here in a Ford Fiesta, I know that's what's going to happen. Paul, I've got a few more interviews lined up. I know you just did the media day, so I want to get you out of here. But I do want to give you a chance to say anything to the fans, anybody out there pulling for Mr. Paul McBeth.
Just thank you for the support. It's always awesome to see you guys come out, be able to meet you all. I think if you haven't been to a tournament, come out and experience it. Yeah, like you pointed, it's a lot of fun. You know, we enjoy meeting our fans and putting on a show. So thanks again for the support, and come on out and watch sometime.
Beautiful. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Paul. Really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, so again, really appreciate that. Guys, that is all I've had for this interview. If you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, thanks for checking out that interview, and thanks again for hanging out a little bit afterwards so I can shout out OTB. Only the best discs. They are fantastic at what they do. They list the flatness and firmness of every disc in stock, as well as $3.95 flat rate shipping on any orders under $75. Man, it's a fantastic deal.